Welcome in. Good afternoon. It's the Ticket Punchers here on 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. I'm your host, Roman Kelly, taking you down till 6 o'clock here today, as we do per usual on the Big X Tuesday through Friday. I'm joined, of course, today by my two co-hosts, Mr. Curtis Phillips, a.k.a. Philly Picks, and, of course, J.R. Anderson, Mr. Junkyard Dogs. Fellas, a lot to get into it today. Excited to chat with you guys as we've got college football playoff on. We've got a fun NFL slate this weekend, and, of course, all of the college basketball and NBA that you could want. Before we do that, we're also going to let our listeners know that we're going to be getting into the Game Day Men's Health text line today, and, of course, our chat as well, wherever you find that chat, whether that's on YouTube via the Ticket Punchers YouTube page or the Big X Sports Radio YouTube page. We're also on X @_Ticket Punchers, where you can get in on the chat there. But our main and first source is that Game Day Men's Health text line on the radio part of the show at 502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health is redefining men's wellness, no shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Curtis Phillips, and then, of course, J.R. Anderson. Fellas, I'm so excited to chat with you guys today. What about that game last night, Philly? We got into it. We had some picks. We obviously didn't have JR on the show yesterday as he was out watching some high school basketball out at Jeffersonville High School, as he has a player on that squad that he helps train and trying to get him right for his varsity season this season. So we'll chat with JR here in just a second about that. But, Philly, talk to us. How was your Thursday night? What'd you think of that game, and what are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, first off, I want to say this was definitely the wrong game to go to sleep at halftime during, because I woke up to a 38-37 game, and when I went to sleep it was 13-7. It was pretty exciting when I went to bed, and this just goes to show you how good both of these teams are. Rams got out to quite a lead. It was back and forth, and then they go up 14 points in the fourth quarter, looking like it's over. And then Seahawks, they special teams, kind of helped them out. Shaheed taking it to the house to cut that deficit. And then they just, kept battling. So it just goes to show you how, for real, I guess this, Seahawks team really is, even with, the few turnovers that Darnold had as well. So it was a fun, exciting game, what it looked like. So, looking forward to these bowl games and the college football, playoff this weekend. So
looking forward to those as well. JR, talk to us. How was your night watching basketball? And, of course, I'm sure you had a late time getting home, catching that Thursday night football game in which you had some winning plays in as well. So chat with us, JR. We missed you yesterday.
Yeah, missed you fellas too. High school game, they end up losing by 10. The team that they played, Silver Creek, they are slated, quote unquote, to win the state championship this year and next year back to back, which I've never heard of someone predicting back to back state champions, but I guess their team is good. They lost by like 9 or 10. It wasn't too bad of a game, but I got home at halftime, turned on the tube, and watched Seattle and the Rams battle it out. I've never seen a 2-point conversion like that in my life, fellas. That was an insane play that ended up, that and the missed field goal, led into the Seahawks winning. But, damn good game, battle for the first seed, and Seahawks now have it. So ready to get the playoffs started here in a couple of weeks.
Definitely ready for the playoff action. I feel like it's not necessarily wide open, but there is room for anybody to succeed right now in the NFL. If you can make things happen, you can be a balanced offense and a good defense. I feel like you have an opportunity right now in the NFL. So there's a few teams that kind of fall into that category, and it'll be cool to see what they do going forward. But I mean, Matt Stafford last night, I didn't watch the game live. I'm watching my buddies are in the group chat going crazy the entire game, basically, because we had like 4 different guys who their last leg of the parlay was Rams money line for their day. And, you're seeing a reaction to every play and whatnot. Sam Darnold, the interception, obviously the missed field goal, and then the 2-point conversion there again. I mean, what a dart. That's actually like the only play I watched live was that 2-point conversion. But Sam Darnold with the dart there to get the victory. Had a little bit of help. Matt Stafford's defense not really helping him out, but that's football. That's the NFL. That's why it's fun. That's why it's exciting. We've got the Louisville Cardinals in action tomorrow going up against Montana, hosting Montana. They'll be 30.5-point favorites in this game. Don't think we'll have much on this one, fellas, but just expecting them to bounce back and get the job done there. But I want to get into tonight. We've got a lot to chat about because there's a lot of games. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of opinions on each of these games. And let's just start off with the topic of the day, and that is the college football playoff. JR, you've been hot on Alabama this year. We've made some money off Alabama. We've made some money off of you from picking Alabama as well here on the Ticket Puncher show. This is a matchup in which, I think this is one of the few games in college football this season you got wrong in the regular season. As we were on Alabama in this one. But what do you think in this matchup? It's a rematch here.
Yeah, I just was trying to pull it up. Looks like OU is now favored by -1.5. Very interesting. I still think Alabama is going to get this game. And I don't know what the money line is right now. I'm just looking at Apple Sports here. I'm not in a good signal area, good enough for the show, but
-102 in favor of Alabama, -116 on the Oklahoma side. So really just a pick 'em.
Yeah, I mean, like I say all the time, fellas, if they're gonna give us points, take the points. I would love the +1.5 as an early line. This game is on today, right?
Yep, 8 p.m. here in a couple hours.
In my head, it's Saturday, but it feels like it's not. Well, it's not Saturday, but it feels like it's Saturday. It's Friday, but only game on the slate. I still love Alabama. I love the +1.5. I love the money line. I do think it's going to be a really good game, to kick us off here.
What are you thinking for this one tonight, Philly?
Yeah. So like I said all week, leaning with you guys, I do lean to the Alabama side. Really, one of the few things that concerns me is I haven't seen one person take Oklahoma, which, can kind of be a red flag. But I will drop an official punch real quick. I will back Alabama, but defensively, and I'll take Oklahoma's team total under 20.5 at, -110. Alabama, although their offense has been kind of struggling the last few games, their defense has been pretty stout all season, allowing only 18 points per game. Oklahoma's offense hasn't really been the same when John Mateer came back from that injury. Passing game really hasn't been that great. And I know they scored 23 points, the first matchup, but 17 of those were, came off turnovers from Alabama, 3 turnovers that was, which led to, short fields. So I don't think Oklahoma, will have that spark on offensively tonight. So I'll take the team total under.
I like that one. This one, yeah, and that's a great point you make because I have not seen a lot of people on Oklahoma. I'm trying to pull up what we can find with any numbers and percentages of bets coming in. Hopefully, maybe JR can get one of those pulled up before we get out of here. But I mean, I'm seeing in terms of people I know, I have friends that are it's pretty 50-50 in my friend group of people that I know that are pretty big with college football. I still can't get a true gauge on where all the bettors are coming in on it because. I'm seeing 57% of people bet the money line on the DraftKings percentages, but 50% on the spread. It's even on the -1.5 in the favor of Oklahoma and on the +1.5 on the favor of Alabama. So 73% coming in on the over, which I don't really agree with. I think this is going to be an ugly one. I think they're not necessarily ugly, but I think we're in that 17-20 kind of a range. Maybe it does get to that like 21, 24, and that would go over there. I don't know if both teams scored 3 touchdowns in this game, if I'm being honest. I think there's probably going to be some field goals for sure in this one. So kind of can't really get a read on the over-under, but I am still leaning Alabama. I'm probably going to go in. We've got a 50% boost right now on this game. I'm probably going to lean the Alabama points on this one. The plus side, maybe plus 2.5, plus 3.5, and then pair that up with the Oklahoma under there, just because that is 2 things that I think that are going to happen. I think this is a 1-score or a field goal game. I do think the winner doesn't win by much more than 3 points in this one, and that's kind of where I'm at. Anything you guys want to add about the lines tonight, specifically in this matchup? We did have a game earlier today, or not earlier, it's happening right now. NC State and Memphis going at it, where NC State's handling them. I believe they're up 31-7, but we got the big heavy hitter tonight. Go ahead, JR.
On the Alabama game, once these lines dropped on December 7th, these odds, just for Alabama, money line was around 120. And then it steadily trickled down to 115 to 108, back up to 115. And, it's just been fluctuating back and forth. But it looks like as of right around noon today is where the sharp money started to come in heavy on the Oklahoma side. And that's where you see this minus 1.5. But it, like, when you look at it, it's still even kill at 50-50. But, there's bigger large sums of money on Alabama, which is leaning towards the 57% for the private public money, but then most of the public is going with Oklahoma at an 80 percentile to cover that minus 1.5, which I think we fade the public, and that's where the sharp money is doing, and they're going with Alabama. It's just that they're not winning the overall, some of the bets.
I see. So yeah,
larger
also
loans.
Because that one's probably been being bet a lot more than the other college football games as well, having it be the first big one, first of the playoff itself. So we can expect that, the numbers on that to be even more accurate here in the next couple of hours. So excited
And they
to see
got
that.
home court advantage. That's the other thing.
It's in Alabama, right?
No, it's in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's where
so in the pick'em side, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say
the public tends to go with the home team, around this time of year, just a little slight edge, which is why we see that 1.5, 2 point fluctuation.
Yep. If the bets are coming in 50-50, they're going to give that 1.5 in the football game, typically to the home team. So not a surprise to see that. Got one text coming in on the Game Day Intel text line here. Oh no, that was just a reaction text there. So fellas, so official picks. Philly, you go with your official pick in this game to win.
To win or just
to win tonight? Who you got? Who you think advances?
I'll go ahead and drop Bama since I've been on them all week.
Yep.
JR, you think Bama gets the job done?
Yeah, plus 106. Bama outright for the JR. And I do love the plus 1.5 at minus 105 if you're feeling a little froggy. All
right, there it is. I'm on Bama as well. So that's that first round of the college football playoff happening tonight at 8 p.m. All of us rocking with Bama here. Maybe, like you said, JR, if you're feeling froggy, you take the points. We've got some other matchups tomorrow in the college football playoff as well, fellas, and I want to get your takes on those. Just quick, we can just say who we think wins and why maybe. But we've got Miami and Texas at noon tomorrow. Miami and Texas A&M at noon tomorrow in Texas on that one. Tulane at Ole Miss at 3:30, and then James Madison at Oregon. JR, we'll start with you. Get Philly on the second pick. Miami, Texas, who you like?
Yeah,
Texas A&M. Sorry, did it again.
Yeah, Texas A&M. I called this, earlier in the week as some early lines. Looks like it has already shifted, drastically. They're now, 3.5 point favorites at plus 100. I would steer clear of any points. I would take Texas A&M outright. I just love their defense. They got a lot of stud muffins over there on that side of the ball, and I think they're going to, disguise a lot of zone stuff for Beck. He struggled against zone defenses all year long, and I do think they're going to blitz him as much as they possibly can. I just don't have confidence in Beck being able to overcome that defense, especially with the home court advantage there.
Yep, I like Texas A&M to win.
And then 67% of public agrees with us. They are on Texas A&M heavy. So,
what about you, Philly Picks?
Yeah, give me A&M as well. I think Miami will actually play them really tough in the first half. And then, like you said, JR, I think, Beck, he'll probably have, a few key turnovers at the end of this game, with that feisty Texas A&M defense. So, yeah, give me A&M.
Tulane, Ole Miss, JR, 3:30. Tulane coming in at 17.5-point dogs in this one. But Ole Miss, with the coaching stuff going on, Lane Kiffin headed to LSU, potential there for some, not necessarily chaos, but not a team that's being coached all the way through from top to bottom, right? Or there's the potential for every player there. I want to prove Lane wrong. We want to go show we don't, it didn't matter who is here. We can do this. Two different routes that you can kind of believe and see the Ole Miss side kind of looking like here. This is a Tulane team that's been pretty good all season long. How are you feeling about this one?
Listen, Lane Kiffin, Peter Griffin, Blake Griffin, it don't matter. I think Ole Miss will get this job done. That team is loaded, man. They're already minus 900 on the line. I think those boys are going to be motivated, especially, I don't know if they're new coaches, their official new coach or just interim. I don't remember seeing that announcement.
I think he's interim, still the interim.
I saw the AD do the whole motivational speech thing, talking about we already got somebody in the room that can lead us to victory and stuff. So I think they're going to be motivated. I know haven't seen a lot of transfer, portal stuff with a lot of kids kicking out just yet. Ole Miss for sure, man.
Philly, what are you thinking on this one? 3:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss will get it done. I lean Tulane to cover, though. I know these two.
Same here.
17.5 is crazy.
Yeah, these two teams played early this season. Ole Miss, routed them. I think Tulane's going to try to muddy this game up, get some more, runs in to slow this clock down. And, yeah, you're giving me 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I lean for them to cover that, but, yeah, Ole Miss to win.
We've got James Madison and at Oregon at 7:30 on this one. I'll start here on this one, fellas. 20.5-point dogs on the James Madison side. I mean, I have not been impressed with this Oregon offense this season. I get there at home. I know Will Stein, he's got the new hype now that he's the UK head coach and whatnot, but the Dante Moore kid has just not impressed me. When he has to go out there and be a game breaker and be a playmaker, he's not as accurate as you would like him to be, in my opinion. And when I think this game kind of comes down to like a bit of an unexpected closeness earlier in this one and some long third downs that you didn't really see coming, you're forcing him to make plays. I think for a long enough time, James Madison can stay in this one. I do think Oregon wins, but I think that, I don't think they win by many more than 17 points, right? So give me James Madison to cover this one, but Oregon to win. JR, how are you feeling there on the 7:30 p.m. game tomorrow?
Yeah, Oregon, ATS all-time or just against the spread, they're 56%. But, when we look at James Madison's side, and I do think it's, a little bit of the resume on this side of it too, but they're 100% with plus 20.5 or, essentially 21-point games or better. They're 100%. They haven't lost by more than that. Like I said, it could be, schedule recency bias in there too. But I would kind of alt them up if you're building a parlay and kind of take them around
24.5
range. Yep. Yeah, it's minus 186, but anything sub 200, even at the minus 210, if you're building a little 3-piece, 2-piece parlay, I think that's an excellent leg. It's cold. Teams typically like to run the ball a little bit more. If James Madison can, slow down the air raid a little bit, I think they would be fine. But, they could also come out and get smacked by, 20 points or so.
What do you think? How do you think James Madison lets this one look, Philly? Not lets, but I guess how do you think Oregon lets this one look, Philly, tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm on the other side, fellas. I think Oregon is going to rout James Madison, honestly. James Madison, good in the, Sun Belt Conference, I believe. Well, but no matter what the conference is, I just think, Oregon, they haven't really impressed me either, but I think they'll handle opponent like James Madison. Louisville being, James Madison's best opponent, which Louisville, we wasn't that good all year. James Madison really controlled most of the first half, yet Louisville still won by 2 touchdowns. They got to travel cross country. I just think Oregon, the physicality is going to kind of wear this team down. So I think Oregon can win by the 3 touchdowns. So.
Okay, there's one disagreement here on the Ticket Punchers early, which we knew was coming with college football stuff. We all been watching these games, viewing them in different ways, analyzing them in different ways, researching them in different ways. So, we do all think Oregon wins, though. Not necessarily picking a disagreement there, but in the way that it'll look, kind of feeling differently there. And you kind of just never really know with these college football teams. These are teams that haven't played each other, 1, and then 2. Haven't played teams quite like this very consistently, so you never know what hats they're going to, what tricks they got in their hat, what James Madison's going to pull up their sleeve. They had 2 trick plays against us that didn't work that I'm sure they're going to try to incorporate and find some ways to get creative. But ultimately, the bodies and dudes that Oregon has are just going to be overwhelming and should get the job done. But I do think that personally, when you've got someone like Dante Moore behind the helm, you've got a chance for it to be not as fluid as you like, right? That's kind of our bit of a college football chat there. We'll get more into it as well next week after we see the way that these games going in today and tomorrow. Fellas, I do want to also, we chatted about bowl games yesterday, JR. If you had something you wanted to get into with the bowl game that isn't one of the college football playoff games, feel free to drop that. Feel free to get into that. We chatted about a couple of the good ones yesterday. Obviously, Philly picks as well. If you have one that you were able to get into within your dig today, then let's have it. I haven't done a true bowl game dig, if I'm being honest, because like Philly described in depth yesterday, the amount of research you have to do for those kinds of games when they're not top-level teams is a little bit more in-depth than your average regular season game or even a conference championship game because of the opt-outs, because of the coaching changes, right? It might not even be a head coaching change, right? The running backs, the starting running back opt-out, one's injured, and then the running back coach left, right? And now it's 2 freshmen coming in playing or 2 guys who haven't played all year and they don't have the running back coach. Little things like that, and it's a run-heavy team or something, and now the quarterback's going to throw – you have to know those kinds of things to bet bowl games accurately, I feel like, at least with the – I don't want to call them the non-elite teams. I'm not saying mid-major teams necessarily either, but those middle-of-the-pack kinds of teams, those 7-win teams, right? They're interesting for a reason. But I still think, though, that because of some of the lines, they are kind of some good betting leans if there is something that you feel like the books aren't addressing enough. Doesn't seem like we have one, though, fellas, so let's take a quick shift into basketball. I'll let you guys pick. Where do you want to start? If you've got official punches for tonight in the NBA, if you've got some college basketball for tonight or tomorrow, we can start there. Philly, I was going to give you the floor kind of here for the start of this last segment when we get into these official punches, because I do have to, one, conclude on what I want this triple punch piece to be, but also allow us to get those triple official punches out as well. Philly, what are you liking here for the rest of the weekend? It could be anything. It could be an NFL touchdown prop that we haven't talked about yet this week if you've got one. I actually have more NFL props right now for official punches than anything else. So I'd like to take a quick look and conclude some things on the NBA side of things. I haven't had a quick chance to look in the last couple of hours. As you know, you can't really do a whole lot at noon when you don't know who's playing for certain, right? But Philly, talk to us.
Yeah, we can end on NBA, but we'll start with NFL since we actually do have 2 Saturday games for tomorrow. One including my Chicago Bears rematch with the Packers, and I'm digging in a market I don't really get into, but I love the number here, and it's the Bears rushing team total. So as a team, over 131.5. So Bears, we're the second best, rushing offense right now in the entire league. We're averaging 152 yards per game on the ground. We just played the Packers, and I feel like that second half we kind of found a rhythm, and that was with not even having a rush over 9 yards, but our offensive line kind of just ground pounded versus that defensive line for the Packers, who are going to be without Micah Parsons tomorrow. And we've cashed this 6 out of the last 7 weeks, so I think we get it done tomorrow night as well. So I found that. I don't know how many books offer that, but I found that on Bet365 at -120. So I really love that play.
Now, is that your only NFL play you're on?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I've got my dig on. So yes, at the moment.
All right, I'll drop one that I've got that I'm liking a lot. That's in the NFL as well. Fellas, it's going to be the Vikings. It's a weird prop here. McCarthy's been weird, though, if I'm being honest. J.J. McCarthy and his passing game and the confidence he has in his receivers, which I think is more so really a justification on how much confidence he has in himself. But with that being said, fellas, he's gone to Jalen Naylor a lot this season. Jalen Naylor has produced for the Vikings when J.J. McCarthy's been under center. You can catch his 25-plus receiving yards at -106. The Giants' top 5 team and what they allow to the slot receiver is kind of fluctuated. I think they're like number 3 or number 6 right now, and what they allow slot receivers to do in terms of yards per game. Give me Jalen Naylor, 25 plus yards receiving against the Giants on Sunday. I like that matchup there for him in that one. I had another. JR, I want to let you get a chance here because I don't know if you did your NFL dig. Do you have any player props that you're looking at in the NFL this Sunday? Got you muted there.
I don't have any player props just yet. Been doing toy giveaways at work all the last 2 days, but I plan to wait on injury reports, push out player props probably later tonight or first thing in the morning. I do have some team overall plays that I do like.
Go ahead with those.
Let's get into it. So first and foremost, Eagles bounce back. I love Eagles to cover the -7 at -106 right now against Washington at Washington. This is a 4-10 team. No Jaden. They're pretty much turning it down. I think Philly is going to, come out and try to get, back into the groove. Playing Eagles football could be a good game for Saquon. I'm going to do some research on that tonight. And either Devontae or AJ Brown props that I like, and maybe some Jalen Hurts, passing, depending on the weather. I haven't really got a chance to look at the weather for a lot of these games. That's what I've been focused on because it seems like, the colder it gets, the more they want to run and do a lot of short underneath stuff. You can't have a lot of long distance ball flight unless you're playing in some of these domes. So I love them to cover the 7 there. Also, with Tua getting benched, I love the Bengals to cover the -3.5. I don't even know who the backup is for Miami, but we're going with Burrow. He is my fantasy quarterback. Yeah, it's a dub. It's a dub. I do love some Jamar Chase props in that game. I'm going to get into that tonight. I don't love the Buffalo -10.5. I would kind of alt this down a little bit. I was, looking earlier somewhere around the maybe 8.5 mark, right under 10. They can get the job done, but, it could be one of those Cleveland defensive games depending on weather. I think we're supposed to get some nasty weather here overnight leading in tomorrow and Sunday. And that's all I got so far.
I've got one that I'm liking here, and it's on the same in that Bengals game. It is a player prop here. I'm on the Devon Achane yards. With the way that they're going to play, I believe they're going to be running the ball pretty heavily with the backup out there. Devon Achane, I'm going to take his yard prop at 80 plus at -130 on the weekend. He's covered this in 6 games this season. He's gotten super close in some other games as well. Just, them getting blown out or losing and then stopping, not running the ball in the fourth quarter. That kind of happens to him a few times as well this season. So he probably could have gotten well over that 50 mark. Like he's got 2 or 3 games where he's in that high 60s. So on lower carries, 14 carries, 67 when he's normally in that 18 plus kind of a carry mark. We've watched him do it in less than that as well. So I like Achane to get back on track, against the Giants, another team that's not been great against the run, 7 carries, 92 yards. So give me Achane on the 80 plus as my other player prop in the NFL on Sunday. Fellas, we haven't get any basketball out. We can continue going at the NBA with NFL if you guys have anything else, but I wanted to see what you guys were on in the NBA tonight or with college basketball tomorrow, because I had one college basketball prop for tomorrow, St. John's money line, getting the job done in Lexington tomorrow against the UK, the Kentucky Cats. So I like St. John's there. I think Patino goes down there, whips up on them boys, puts them back to down under.
I agree. Some good old payback from Ricky P.
Oh yeah.
But tonight we haven't given anything out. Well, we're all leaning Alabama. We got one official punch from Philly with the under for the Oklahoma side. What do we like for officials tonight? Because I'm telling Philly on that one. I'm leaning Alabama plus 2.5 on what I'm gonna go with parlay plus 2.5. Oklahoma under. That's gonna be my 2-leg on this one because I have a 50% boost. So I'm not feeling the need to go crazy with officials on this one. And I kind of like the parlay spot with that boost, even though it can be used on singles. What do you guys like officially tonight before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. College basketball, like LSU's team total over 83.5 at -120. And then NBA, Nickeil Alexander-Walker over 20.5 points at -122. And then J-Dub, Jalen Williams for the Thunder over 24.5 points and rebounds at -106. Love all those.
JR, did you have anything ready for tonight?
Yeah, call me crazy, but I love Philly money line. No Joel Embiid, playing at Madison Square Garden. I think tonight, can shape up to be one of those Tyrese Maxey 40 bombs. They got Paul George in the lineup. It is plus 190. So, I mean, everything about this says go against me here. But if you don't like my Philly money line, then I do love Philly plus 5.5. I think coming off of the Cup game, New York is due for one of those typical New York Knicks types of games. But also, when I look at the guard play, I really love the matchups with Paul George, Edgecombe, and Maxey guarding, their predominant three. The only mismatch that I see is, the Knicks starting Cat at the 5, and they got Drummond on him. But, I feel like they got enough to get the job done. It's going to depend on Maxey, Edgecombe, and George to put up points.
Well, I'm rocking with the Ticket Puncher special here tonight, fellas. Jalen Johnson, 23.5 points. We're going, or 22.5 points, I'm sorry. So the 23-plus mark on the alt, we're going over at minus 160 tonight. With the Spurs coming to Atlanta to play. Interesting spot here because I like the guard matchups defensively for Atlanta. I don't think Fox goes insane tonight. I don't think Castle goes insane tonight because you've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Dyson Daniels guarding them for a lot of minutes. I think they, kind of leads to a Wemby spot, a weird Harrison Barnes 12-point game kind of a spot because of that perimeter out there on the guard spots. But ultimately, though, I think Jalen Johnson just won't have a defender in front of him on that other side for enough minutes in this game to negate him from doing what he's done these last month and a half, 2 months here. Give me Jalen Johnson on the 23 points there as well for tonight, fellas. That was my only NBA official for tonight. I had one more team one that I was rocking with, but I like the Timberwolves team total tonight going up against the Thunder. I mean, the Thunder have already they've shown that you can play with them when they're on the road, right? The defensive intensity can kind of waver just for moments in a game. I think that the Wolves have been an interesting team lately. I think if Ant plays tonight, I think he is projected to be back tonight after sitting in their last game. I lost it here, and I think it's gone up.
He's still questionable.
They've still got him on questionable. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, we'll stay. Yeah, we'll stay away with it. We'll stay away from it then tonight.
Right.
But at being 6.5-point dogs and an over/under 232, you're looking at like a not crazy total for the Timberwolves tonight on a home game. I think they could get there if the Thunder would let them run. But we'll call that a jab. The Timberwolves team will total tonight. So that's going to wrap me up in official punches. Anything before we get out of here on the radio side of things, fellas?
That's it for me, brother.
Wrap us up.
That's going to wrap us up. Appreciate you guys listening. Stay tuned if you want on the YouTube and X stream. Well, we will be addressing a few more things, but let's go punch those tickets. This has been the Ticket Punchers here on the Big X.
Punch the ticket.
All right, fellas. Yeah, I'm on the Jalen Johnson tonight. We didn't give out a triple punch. Do you guys want to do that real fast?
Yeah. Y'all have y'all's ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll go first. Jalen Brunson, alternate 3+ rebounds, sitting around minus 188. He's averaging right around that on the season, as well as Sixers allowing the most rebounds to point guards. I didn't get into my complete dig, but when I was counting, at least 14 straight starting point guards have had at least 3 rebounds versus the Sixers. So I think Brunson can get at least 3 tonight.
I like it. Paul George playing tonight. I was gonna go the VJ Edgecombe prop, the combo with the rebounds and assists, but I stay away when Paul George is playing. So I'm not mad at that. I like the Heat to cover the plus 7.5 tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and make that another official punch for tonight, which I get isn't on the radio side of things, but I do think the Heat cover against the Celtics.
Half them boys are unquestionable.
Yeah, I know, but
Powell and like 3 of them. That's the only reason why I stayed away from it.
They're still giving me odds late, which I think is good for a 7 o'clock tip. I think Powell will play. No hero tonight.
Yeah. Good. Wiggins got ruled out. Mitchell is questionable as of 20
I think Mitchell will play.
Yeah, he looks like he's leaning toward playing. But yeah, all good. Yeah, I like that. I love Philly plus 5.5. If they're going to give me the points, I'm going to take it. I like the 3 guards better than the Knicks as of late. As long as Cat doesn't torch, then I think they will be fine. I like them 5.5. I also like Paul George points over 18. I think it's a good matchup. Michael has a really hard time guarding him for whatever reason. I believe it's still 18.5. Let me double check. Play your pops. Let's see. So they still got Joel Embiid on here, but he was ruled out.
What was your punch yesterday, Roman?
I went 3-2 yesterday. We forgot to get into those. I had Norfolk State. That was the college basketball play I had that missed. But we hit Kenneth Walker 40+. We hit Kyron Williams 50+, and we hit the Knicks money line right there at the end. Crazy.
Yeah.
In that game, we lost to Jimmy Butler 6+.
Was that your triple punch?
My triple punch piece from yesterday was the Nuggets money line.
Oh, okay. That's right. Dang. So we only missed by the 2 points. I didn't take it yesterday, but I was wondering what yours was. I think Lakers won by 8, right, JR?
Yeah, they didn't cover.
We've been so close on our misses.
Yeah. Like bums. Pissed me off. They was up too. I think they got up to like 11. Yeah, and then Keontae George decided to turn into prime Ray Allen.
I know they didn't even have Martin.
Yeah, they didn't. That's why I love the -10, but they just play lackadaisical, man. And it was in Utah. I think if they played in LA, it would have been a lopsided. But that Utah crowd was into it. Plus, they had some stars sitting courtside, so they were out there balling. I give them credit, but Lakers don't play serious, man. I mean, the score was 144 to 130 something.
They can't defend. It's terrible.
Utah.
All right, fellas, I got to jump out of here. Got to get something set up for this broadcast. Let's go punch those tickets.
Let's go punch them.
Yep, punch them tickets.
Sure.
Be safe.
All right, you too, brother.
Yes, sir.